Let's move on and talk briefly, because I know neither one of us are in a really strong position to talk about MLS.
I beg to differ.
Lionel Messi.
Oh, sorry, I'm totally out.
Is headed to Inter Miami. Inter Miami CF too. What are you doing? I sort of understand that all these North American teams want to make themselves sound like club teams in Europe, and that's it. Like if you would Inter Miami FC, I'd go, all right. Like CF, I don't know what you're even trying to do there.
Well, it's like here in Ottawa with Atletico.
Yeah. But at least you know who owns that.
Yep.
It makes a little bit of sense. And maybe they're playing to, I don't know any Spanish. Like, are they playing to their Cuban population down there? Or I don't even know. But this is about as big of a name as there is in soccer coming to MLS. We've seen it years ago with...
David Beckham?
No. Well, yeah. When he came to the LA Galaxy, yeah. But long before that, was it the
Pele?
US? Yeah, was it the US?
He was
FL
playing with the
or
New York.
But he was spent, right? Like by then he was done.
Yeah.
Messi is getting there, but he's still got some game left, and he apparently turned down like
$1 billion.
Yeah, from the Bonesaw League there
From
in
the
Saudi
Saudis,
Arabia, and to come to and apparently like Apple TV, who owns their TV rights. The league itself, like there was a bunch of people splitting the cost of getting Messi because it's good for the league. All kinds of people across MLS, like all the teams, their Miami games are now instantly sold out and the secondary market has gone through the roof. Like you and I aren't guys that are lining up to see him come to Toronto or whatever.
100%.
But this has apparently already made an impact. And just in the 24 hours after he signed in Miami, that team's Instagram page gained 4.2 million followers. Yeah. It is now the most followed North American sports franchise on that platform, more than any NFL team,
Suck
NBA,
it, Dallas Cowboys.
And all of it. And I wonder, like, neither one of us are any more likely to sit down and watch an MLS game tomorrow than we were before. But like, is it reasonable to assume that this will? Is this just exciting for soccer fans that are already here, or is there a chance that this will help grow the league?
Well, as you said, it is comparable to Pele. I want to say it was Cosmos. It puts the league even further. Now that I say that, the league is much more established.
They're on the come
than that one was.
Yes,
but it's where it benefits Inter Miami versus where it benefits MLS. I think MLS as a whole really stands to benefit incrementally more than Inter Miami.
Right.
Yeah, I know you, as you said, they're now the most followed and their games are sold out, but there's only so much that they can reap the benefits of.
Yeah.
Whereas, when Messi rolls into Toronto, if that game wasn't sold out already, guess what? It's jacked up through the roof in terms of the secondary market. The people who are going to benefit from it are likely the teams not in Miami. I would suggest those were the guys who stand to make the most. So they should all be kicking in and paying part of Messi. Because if there isn't somebody coming off of a World Cup gold, championship, who's now showed up, who was the MVP, I believe, of the World Cup, like he is in the back nine of his career.
Sure.
But he is still the biggest name in soccer. And he's now playing in the MLS.
Yeah. Like, this is going to be huge, as you said, for Kansas City, right? For Colorado,
Seattle.
For anybody, right, that is going to have this guy come in and play there. A couple more sold-out dates. I did read a couple people who know far more about this, which doesn't take much than I do, suggesting this would be the time for the league to pounce. You've got some attention right now. See, like, maybe soften, those cap rules that you have a little bit. Maybe spread some money around and see who else you can get to jump right now, right? And see if you can kind of capitalize on that hype and get a couple more of these big names to come over. And they are strict, and it's an interesting system they have. Like, the cap is sort of controlled by the league.
Yeah.
And the money is all controlled by the league as opposed to by the individual teams, which is interesting. But it does mean you can kind of tweak as you go a little bit more if you want to, and they have done that in the past. The TFC just brought over a couple of big Italian names here, and just before this season, it hasn't exactly panned out. That's been a disaster this year. But maybe this is a time where hey, look, Messi just came, and see what other big names might be willing to go, yeah, I could see myself playing in LA or New York or whatever. And you know, if you throw enough money at it, maybe this is a chance on top of the Messi thing to take a step forward.
I completely agree with you, but the money is still so big unless you are loosening those cap constraints.
You'd have to be.
In terms of the money made in Europe between the 5 big leagues over there, it's you'd have to. And so again, I don't know what Messi is making, but there's got to be sponsorships.
Well, it is interesting to hear. That's right. That your TV deal and your whatever are all kicking in to make this happen because they know it's good. It's not just the league. It's not just the team.
Right. Which is an absolute cap circumvention.
Of course it is.
And so heads up MLS.
But as you suggest, maybe you called the rest of the league and everybody said, yep, bring that guy in. Like it's going to be good for business.
I'm willing to use a couple million of my cap space. Because I know...
Well, maybe not my cap space, but my dollars. To sell those tickets.
To sell those tickets, which means beer sales, which means...
everything. Jerseys.
Everything goes exponentially up, right? So, as I said, I firmly believe the league itself benefits greatest from his presence. But in terms of does this start a rush, unless you are willing to have other clubs circumnavigate the cap like Inter Miami is clearly doing...
Yeah.
Because I don't know how you turn down $1 billion to take whatever. Like even if you look at Beckham's 25 mil, which is what he signed 4 years, 25 million, way back in the day.
Yep.
I don't know how this works. How you can compare?
You're gonna have to get closer.
You know what? That $1 billion. Nah, I'm gonna go over here because the Chicks is hot in South Florida.
Can't wait to get to Fort Lauderdale.
Yes. So I have a bunch of questions. But I think there's a bunch of people at the MLS who are just rubbing their mitts like, yes, guy.
Yep.
This is good for me.
Agreed, man.